I grew up in northern Minnesota, where the winters are so cold the air feels sharp. Everyone in town knows the old stories, creatures in the woods, hungry things that used to be human. But nobody really believes them. At least, not until something happens to make you believe. 3 years ago, I worked as a night shift plow driver. It was the kind of job where the dark feels thicker than normal, like the headlights barely cut through it. One night, around 2 a.m., I pulled over near the tree line to clear a buildup of snow from the blade. That's when I heard it. A whistle, not a tune, not a person trying to get my attention. Just a long, shaky whistle carried on the wind. But it didn't sound human. It sounded like someone trying to imitate a human whistle but not quite getting it right. I turned off the engine. The forest went dead silent, like it was holding its breath. Then I heard my name. At first I didn't process it, but then I heard it again, this time in my dad's voice. "Eli, help me." My dad died 6 years ago. The voice came from beyond the tree line, maybe 20 feet into the woods. I took one step forward before something inside me screamed to stop. The stories, the warnings. Wendigos mimic voices. Don't follow. I backed toward the truck, and that's when I saw it. Two long, pale hands gripping a tree trunk, too high up for a person. Slowly, a head leaned out, gaunt and stretched, with hollow eyes that glowed faintly like dying embers. It tilted its head at me as if studying my reaction. Then it whispered, still using my father's voice, "Come help me." I jumped into the truck and floored it. Snow sprayed behind me as I tore down the road. In the mirror, the headlights caught something long and thin, scuttling back into the darkness like a spider withdrawing from the light. The whistle followed me for almost a mile. Too close, too clear, too patient. I quit that job a week later. And I never stopped for anything near the tree line anymore, not even in broad daylight. My cousin Riley owns a small hunting cabin in Ontario, the kind of place you have to snowmobile to reach in winter. He invited me up for a weekend trip, said I needed a break from the city. When we arrived, something felt off. There were footprints around the cabin, paced in uneven circles, not boot tracks, barefoot, in the snow. Riley laughed it off, said it was probably some lost hiker, but the prints were huge, and the toes were long and thin like claws. Inside, the cabin was freezing. The firewood was untouched, but something had been living there. I could smell it. A mix of rot, iron, and something sweet, like fruit left too long in a warm room. That night, the temperature dropped to -25. We were sitting by the fire when we heard a thump on the roof. Then another, slow pacing, back and forth, back and forth. Riley grabbed his rifle. I grabbed a flashlight. Suddenly, something slammed against the door. The wood bowed inward, dust falling from the beams. We froze. Then it spoke. In a low, scraping voice, it whispered, "Riley." The way it said his name made my skin crawl, like it was tasting every letter. Riley's face turned white. A week ago, he had found a missing person flyer pinned to a tree outside the cabin. A local man who'd vanished in the woods. Now, that same man's voice was outside our door, but wrong, twisted, stretched. It whispered again, "Let me in." We didn't sleep. We sat with our backs to the wall, watching the door shake every few minutes as something pressed against it, testing it, teasing us. At sunrise, the knocking stopped. We opened the door just a crack. The snow was covered in footprints leading back into the woods, but they weren't human. They were too long, too deep, and the stride was impossibly big, like whatever made them was running on all fours. Riley sold the cabin the following month. He told the buyer it was too remote, but we both know the truth. The cabin wasn't empty, and it never had been. 2 years ago, I was part of a volunteer search and rescue team in northern Alberta. A teenager named Lucas had gone missing while camping with friends. They claimed he wandered off at night after hearing someone calling from the woods. We assumed he got lost or injured. By the third day, morale was low. The snow was coming down hard and daylight faded early. My partner and I split from the main group to cover more ground. Around dusk, we heard crying. It sounded like a young boy, quiet at first, then louder. "Help me, please." We followed the voice through the forest until we reached a clearing. That's where we found him, or found something that looked like him. Lucas stood in the center of the clearing, shirtless in the freezing cold, back turned to us. His spine jutted out like it was trying to break through his skin. His arms hung.